You can say, oh, I heard Luke explain this, therefore I know everything now. Hooray! Yes, but I would say to you, prove that, okay? In my opinion, you don't really know something until you can explain it to other people. In my opinion, you don't really know something until you can use it yourself. Why not, along with me, just, where are you watching this? Are you watching this on the sofa? Are you feeling relaxed? What are you doing right now? Are you watching TV? Are you really paying attention? We're going to talk about the phrasal verb back up, which is a great phrasal verb because it has so many meanings, so many different ways to use it. Now, it's not too complicated. I don't think there's anything crazy difficult to understand here, but it is important to, I think, understand it through examples. Once we look at some examples, I think all of the different ways to use back up will become extremely clear. All right? Now, I would encourage you, along with my examples, create your own. There's input and there's output. So great, you learn the examples, but you don't really know it until you know how to use it. So I challenge you as we go to write example sentences for each of my example sentences to show me that you've got it and send those examples to me. Now, before we get into the main examples, I want to give the sort of simplest possible meaning. This back being connected to a return, and then up being some kind of movement, direction, or position, like up being upstairs, for example, or up being on, right? Maybe the computer system in the office went down, and we use the word down to mean it died. Okay, but then it's fixed and it's fine now. Everything is on or fixed or okay or running well. Then we say it's up. So we often, when we talk about something returning to its original condition, what it is supposed to be, we say up. It's back up. Oh, yeah, the system is back up. The Wi-Fi is back up. Back up. It has returned to its good, correct condition. Okay. Or maybe we mean upstairs, right? Ugh. I had to go back up because I forgot my keys. Go back up because I forgot my keys. Well, what is the up there? Well, that maybe is the third floor where I live, my apartment. If I live up, maybe on the third floor, and I'm currently on the ground floor, and I return to my apartment up there to get my keys, then I'm returning to up there, so I am going back up. Okay, so that's kind of the simple way to do it, and we have, again, other ways to use back up, and I think the other ones require us to really explore examples. So we're going to look at the examples first, and then we'll talk about what they mean. And again, I want you to make your own. I will back you up if you file a complaint. Thanks for the backup yesterday. Okay, so what's going on here? Well, I want you to first notice that back has you in the middle before up. So sometimes a phrasal verb will have a split in it where we put, for example, the subject. Okay, so a split phrasal verb is one that has, for example, you there. It tells us who is being backed up. Whatever backup means in this case, we'll talk about that. Okay, so if you do this, I will do something for you. What will I do for you? I will back you up. All right, but notice this one, thanks for the backup yesterday, follows the word the. Well, what typically follows immediately after the word the? How about a noun? So we have this phrasal verb in kind of the form of a noun. And if it's in the form of a noun, usually it's going to become one word. So notice with its traditional phrasal verb structure where it's an action, it is back you up, or we'll look at others where back and up are close together with no you in the middle, and it's an action and they're separate, back and up. But if it's a noun, usually often a phrasal verb will become one word. Sometimes there will be a hyphen, sometimes there will be a hyphen between them, but very often it will become one word, and this is no exception. The backup. Okay, but what does it really mean? Well, this is going to be something like support, and we can think of it as stand behind, right? That's an H, not an N. To stand behind someone, right? If you back me up, if I file a complaint, I'm the one taking a courageous action, right? And you say you're going to back me up. I do it knowing that if I'm criticized, you will say, I agree. This is an issue. I support the complaint. I think it's right. Now, unless you're tricking me or lying to me, right? You're telling me that you're encouraging me to take the action of filing the complaint. And one way for you to do that is to tell me that if I make the complaint, which is maybe a little scary, I could lose my job or whatever, then you will support me. And maybe several people do that too. So they are supporting me. They are backing me up. So you could have the ing there as well. They are backing me up. It feels so good to know they are backing me up. I will back you up. They backed me up. So you can change back to backing or backed. But then backup is what I appreciate. The backup. Oh, the support. So it means the same thing. It still means support. It doesn't mean anything different. The only real difference is that it's talked about as a thing, the same way as support is used to describe things. Right? The support, the backup. So there it is it's actually equal to the word support. Same meaning. Okay. Do you have anything to back up what you're telling us? I have pages of evidence to back up my claim. Now, you might notice that this has a similar meaning, but I want to focus on it because it is similar but not used in exactly the same way. Do you have anything to back up what you're telling us? So the meaning here is still support, right? Except it's not one person supporting another. It is evidence. It is facts. It is stuff that will convince other people that maybe it's true or what I'm saying is right. So if I make some statement, right, I say, hey, everyone, the earth is flat. It's flat. Do you understand? It's flat. You've always thought it was a ball? Well, it's not. It's flat. Okay. And you say, do you have anything to back up what you're telling us? Do you have any evidence or facts or information to support what you're telling us? Well, yes. And then I could talk about the flight routes and the way the sun moves and all of that stuff that is, I don't even know, associated with flat Earth, the flat Earth theory. And then if I describe what I have and what it does, I would say I have pages of evidence, pages of facts. I have thousands of documents. I have tons of information to back up my claim. What is my claim? That is what I'm telling you. That is what I'm saying is true. I'm saying this thing is true. A thing you say is true is your claim. Okay? So it does mean the same thing as support, but I think it's very different than that sort of human feeling of we will back you up, we will support you. I think it's important to notice those distinctions. Okay, now this is a very common situation, especially for cars and trucks, right? This is to go in reverse. So very simply, it is to go in reverse, to go backwards, to go backwards, to go backwards. That's an S. You can you can back up, go back would be the same, I suppose. You can back up a few more inches. Okay, so what's happening here? Someone is in a car. I am outside of the car and I'm looking at the rear bumper of your car and the front bumper of the car behind you, and I see that there's this much, about 3 inches of space. So we need you want to back up as far as possible. In New York City, parking, people kiss the car behind them. A little kiss, you touch it a little bit. And that's why many rear bumpers in New York City have little ding marks on them because of how many times they have been kissed by cars behind them. So, or in front of them, I suppose it goes both ways. You can back up a few more inches. You can go backwards a few more inches. You can reverse a few more inches. It's very simple, right? Or I'm talking to you. I'm outside the car. I'm looking. Keep backing up. 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 It's easier to say than keep moving backwards. Keep going in reverse. Keep reversing. Back up, back up, back up. It's so short. It's so simple. I think it's one of the best ways to describe that action. Then, boom, you gave it a little kiss. You backed up too far. Now you backed up too far. You dented the car behind you. They're not going to do anything probably. Now you backed up too far. So this is extremely simple and yet extremely common way to use this very common phrasal verb. Okay, we have 2 more to talk about. Again, I want you to be making examples here. You can say, oh, I heard Luke explain this, therefore I know everything now. Hooray. Yes, but I would say to you, prove that, okay? In my opinion, you don't really know something until you can explain it to other people. In my opinion, you don't really know something until you can use it yourself. Why not, along with me, just, where are you watching this? Are you watching this on the sofa? Are you feeling relaxed? What are you doing right now? Are you watching TV? Are you really paying attention? I want you to open notes or get a piece of paper or do something, and I want you to write simple examples, and I want you to send those to me. I want to see them, because otherwise you can just say, I heard you talking and I think I understand it. And then I'll say, well, can you make an example? And because it's 2 weeks later, you might say, oh, actually, I forget. But if you make examples when you're learning and you have that output, you are much more likely to have the information stick inside your brain, and you're going to be more likely to be able to use everything that you learn in the future. It's very simple, and it's best to do as you are learning. Input, output simultaneously at the same time. Okay, traffic on route or Route 9 is backed up. Let's take another route or route. The order queue is a bit backed up. Please be patient. Okay, so what is going on here? If something is backed up, notice here that there's the ED and then the ED for both of these. We can only use for this meaning, only, usually, 99% of the time, used in the ED form. Now, why is that? It is backed up. We're using it pretty much like an adjective. This is being used as an adjective. What is backed up? Traffic. What is backed up? The order queue. So we're describing the order queue. We're describing the traffic using backed up. We're using it, it's functioning as an adjective. It is a modifier of the traffic. It is a modifier of the order queue, okay? So this is the name of the road, Route 9, and this is what Route 9 is. What is Route 9? Well, it's backed up. And that's another way to say what? There is a traffic jam. But there is a traffic jam as a general condition, and backed up allows you to say a little bit more. You can say traffic on Route 9 is backed up for miles or kilometers. That means how much traffic is there. And it really means the cars are not moving. Nothing is moving along. We want things to move along. Of course, traffic, it's better if it's moving, but it's not because it's backed up. It's similar to the word clogged, and in this specific case is to talk about a traffic jam. So it's a little more general than the word clogged in that sense. Okay. Now let's take another route or route. This one I put in here because you have this as the name of the road, but this is just like path. Route or route is like a path, another way. Let's not stay on Route 9, the name of the road. Let's take another route or route or path. Okay. You wouldn't say path. You would say route or route. Okay. Then the order queue is a bit backed up. Is you're at a restaurant and you're waiting, and it's a takeout order that you made, but there are a bunch of people waiting, and you get there and say, how long do I have to wait? How long is it going to be? And they explain that something happened with the ticket machine, and because of that, the orders are a bit backed up, so you might have to wait 10 minutes, okay? Please be patient. We're so sorry. This is a technical issue. Please be patient. The order queue is sort of the line of the orders that are waiting to be done. They're not done yet. They're still processing. They're still on the way, is backed up. Normally, they would be on it immediately. Now, your order is number 35 in the queue, and it's a bit backed up. It's a little bit clogged. You may be wondering at this point, do people ever use backed up to talk about not being able to go to the bathroom? And the answer is yes. If for any reason you are having a little trouble with number 2, then number 1, number 2. Do you know that? If you're having a little trouble with that, for whatever reason, you ate too much cheese or something like that, or I don't know what else causes that, you can say, I'm feeling a little backed up. There's another word for it, which is constipated. But just in case you were wondering that, the answer is yes, you can. Yes, you can. Okay. Now let's look at one more set here. This is going to be our last set of examples. I hope you're following along, okay? This is a more modern, perhaps a modern usage, but it is also very common. If you have a device and that has information on it, you want to make sure that information is safe, either in another location digitally or maybe on the cloud in the internet. I'm backing everything up on iCloud. Now notice again, we have a word between these two. So this sounds like backup, like backing your car up, except backing it up means to make a copy, a duplicate, but with the purpose of in case something goes wrong. Usually, you should make a backup of all of your important documents. Why? Well, what if something happens to your computer and everything is lost? If you have a backup, then it's there. It is a copy. It is a spare, which is in case something goes wrong, a thing that will allow you to not lose your entire life or to not have a bunch of problems or to not have to rewrite your whole novel or whatever terrible thing would happen if your information were lost, right? So we use it in a couple different ways. I'm backing everything up means it's right now, all of the stuff is backing up. It is being backed up. It is basically in the process of copying to create the duplicate that will be there just in case, right? You should back up, so this one doesn't have anything in the middle there, back up your important documents as a recommendation to say you should make a copy of your important documents. Backup is a much better way to say it because we make copies for many different reasons. Backup gives us that clear feeling of do it just in case. Make the duplicate just in case something is lost. It's very common. Much more common than copy because that is used in so many different ways. And then I have a complete backup. Notice we are now back at the noun form. A complete backup. I have a backup. A backup. Complete here is an adjective. Complete backup, that is what kind of backup I have. It's not a partial. That would be another type. Not all, maybe 80%, the important stuff, but not everything. Well, if it's everything, then you would say complete, and complete would become an adjective or be an adjective, as it usually is, I suppose. And then that goes in the middle between and backup, but the tells you that it's a noun, and because it's a noun, it is one word instead of two, which is what usually happens to phrasal verbs when they're used as nouns. Okay, so that is at least the most common several ways to use the phrasal verb back up. I won't say that there are no other ways to use it. I'm just trying to give you a pretty good picture of this, I think, very interesting, very useful, extremely common phrasal verb. I highly recommend that to really burn this into your memory and make sure you can use it, make your own examples. If you can't use it, you don't know it. So make your own examples, send those to me, and let me know if you have any questions.